So when you're looking at the eclipse, do you find that there's no difference in terms of significance of looking at the sign the eclipse falls into versus the house the eclipse falls into in the natal framework, or do you pay
Well,
more credence to the actual house?
well, the house and the aspects to the natal planets.
Yes,
The sign is interesting, but that's everybody's experience. So it's something we're experiencing as a culture at the time for 18 months. I find
it's a collective experience.
Yeah,
Yes,
and that's fantastic. And but if they're, I want to look at the houses of your chart that's falling in, because that's where your experience is going to be. That's what the houses are about. Where is it happening for you? Where are you learning these lessons? But also the eclipse point in close, hard aspect to the natal planets is huge.
yes.
And I use conjunction, square, and opposition, period, within 4 degrees. I'm reconsidering 4 degrees. I've always used it, but I heard Bill Meridian speak on eclipse
The Charles Jane material,
hats.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he said that, I think it was Jane who said that he used 5 degrees. I went, ooh, maybe I'll stretch it out. Because I really felt this last eclipse that was 5 degrees from my Saturn. And I could really feel that Saturn. So maybe there's something to that. But the reason I like to do that is because I do think that eclipses are events of change and crisis. Crisis isn't always bad, by the way. Crisis is something has to change. And generally speaking, the trine and sextile are not necessarily going to bring that energy to the table, right?
yes,
But a
yes.
square, a conjunction, or opposition will. And because we're already using so much in a chart, and I'm Virgo planets, I like it very streamlined. And I think if I just look at those aspects to a natal planet, then I'm really getting the juice of the eclipse energy along with the house and the house axis, because it's really hitting two houses at a time because they switch back and forth every 6 months.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
I think I told you I had a teacher, Martha Lang Westcott, who used to call eclipses AFGOs, another effing growth opportunity. And of course,
Yeah.
I work with the 90-degree dial, so there are even more ways an eclipse can hit your chart when you start working with harmonic dials.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you find happens when the eclipse is part of a larger chart configuration, whether it's activating a natal or transiting grand trine or grand square or just even T square? Do you find that it totally colors and transforms your understanding of how the eclipse is going to be manifesting in your client's life?
I think anything hitting those kind of configurations, you get this whole sort of system that gets set off. It's more important to me if an eclipse is making one of these very close aspects to a natal planet that is in a difficult configuration with something else, and that could just be a square. So if you have a natal Venus Pluto square and you get an eclipse that comes along and it's right on that Venus, or it's very close to that Venus, even if it's not aspecting Pluto, because it's a wide aspect natally, you're going to get that reflex.
That
And it's,
resonance,
yeah,
right? Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.